everyone, welcome back to this free Figma course for complete beginners. My name is Ines, I'm a principal product designer with 16 years of experience, and if you've missed the previous lessons of this course, go and watch them on my YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to have a look on the FigJam boards. And we are going to learn how they differ from the design files that we have just explored. If you remember the very first lesson of this course where we have discussed the new Figma interface, you might recall that at the moment we can create multiple file types in Figma. In the UX UI design, we mostly use two file types. It's the design file that we have reviewed extensively in the previous lessons of this course, and the FigJam board. So what is the FigJam board? It is really a whiteboard. You can consider it to be an alternative to tools like Miro, Freeform from Apple, or Mural. And basically in UX UI design, we use these whiteboards for two types of work. It's the brainstorming, when we just need to source some ideas, maybe to crunch the data that we have received from user interviews, and for facilitating meetings. Among all the alternatives, I personally really like FigJam for brainstorming because it's right there in Figma. I can also use there the screens of my previous design. I can just import them from the design files that I have created, and to facilitate simple meetings. Simple because at the moment this tool is still new in Figma, and it is lacking some of the core functionalities that more mature tools on the market, such as Miro, for example, can offer you. But anyways, let's go back in Figma and see how you can create a FigJam board. At the moment, everywhere you can see a plus icon, like here, for example, you can create all types of the files. So the design file here, the FigJam board file is also here, and everywhere in Figma you can find those plus icons. I have already an empty FigJam board created, so let's go straight to it. I must say that FigJam board is actually quite intuitive, and if you have ever used a freeform tool from Apple, for example, you will master FigJam in no time. And it is also very fun and forgiving to explore this file type, and you can do nothing wrong, because it is meant to be used by a broader audience in comparison to the design files that only UX UI designers use. So let's see what we have here, and let's have an overview of the FigJam interface. First, we have this small panel on the left. And from here, you can obviously set the name of the file. It works the same way as in the design file. So let's call it the tutorial. Next thing that you can do here in this panel is to implement some quick actions. Those actions are the same as the actions in the design file, and we have reviewed them in the very first lesson of this course. On the right hand side, you see this top panel, and it is actually quite convenient and quite important. In this first area, you will see how many people you have currently in the file. I'm alone here, so it's only me. And this is the fantastic button that you can use. You can spotlight yourself. What this button does is that it enables everyone else in the file to follow you and to see the same things that you see. You can also do that in the design file, and it is very convenient when you are on the call and you are showing your boards, and maybe the quality of the call is a bit bad, so people can follow you here right on the board and see what you see. You can also start a conversation right in Figma. I have never used this personally because at work we use the Google Meet for all of the meetings and we schedule them right away in our calendars. But in theory, you can start a meeting right from here, and all the people that are currently on the board will be invited to this call. Then the next icon you can see, it is actually the same as the panel below. And it is actually an invitation for you to use a generative AI and to start creating some boards. I have used that and tried it multiple times. I don't think it is very convenient unless you really know what you want to create and you are being really explicit. But I usually use templates instead. And you can see there is icon to the right where you can trigger this pop-up window. I find templates are well thought through, and I can always find something that I need, especially if I have already an idea for a meeting or for a brainstorming session in mind. So feel free to explore the templates here. They are really awesome, and they are adding more and more templates over time. Next icon on this right-hand side panel is the view comments icon. And you are going to work a lot with comments on the FigJam board. They are basically the same as in the design file, so you will master them in no time. The next thing is actually quite interesting because it's the timer. And timer is very, very useful. All the time I'm conducting a meeting, I'm doing some exercises with my audience, and I'm usually giving them some time to explore this exercise. You will also find some fun stuff here, like switching on the radio. There are some waves that you can choose from, and you can also control the volume of the radio. And the fun part is that everyone that is using this board will hear the same music. And you can also start the voting from here. So if you have an exercise when you want people to vote on something, you can set there the number of votes for everyone and you can start the voting. The fantastic part about this voting is that while you are voting, you will not see what everyone else is choosing, and you will only see the results when everybody done the voting part. So it's very cool and it's very useful. Definitely use that for your meetings. And the last button on this panel is the share button. It works the same way as in the design file. The only thing you have to be mindful here is that the copy link is placed here above. I don't think it's very explicit, and I personally tend to lose it, especially when Figma changed the interface. So let's move on to the bottom panel. On the left-hand side, you see that we have two modes here to choose from. There are the selection tool and the hand tool. I am using the touchpad on my MacBook, so for me, those modes, they don't really make the difference. But I think if you use a mouse, you might find it convenient and you might see if there is a difference that you like. Since I have not used a mouse for many years, I can't really tell. The next tool is the marker. And it's really fun to explore. You see that you have all sorts of things that you can implement. So you can highlight something, you can put a tape here, and you can use, of course, a usual marker, and it works really nicely. You can have different density, you can choose the color. And I think if you have ever used a drawing tool on your iPad or on your iPhone, you know this interface already. And the next tool is the sticky note, and obviously we use them a lot on our whiteboards. We place there our thoughts, our ideas. When people do brainstorming, they also use it, and we vote then on the ideas they place on the post-its. You can also choose the color of the post-its, and you can set if you want your name to be visible on the post-it or not. Let's move on and review the panel that defines different shapes. You can obviously choose a standard shape such as circle. You can choose the shape right from here as well. So I might want it to be a rectangle. And right from here, you can choose a connector. You can connect your objects using this tool, or you can choose a connector from this panel, or you can just select an object and drag the connection from the side of the object that you want. The next icon is adding the text, so it's also pretty simple. Sections are working the same way they work in the design file. We had a lesson about different grouping types in the design file. So here in the FigJam board, you cannot create a frame. You can only create a section or a group. So yes, you can group some things together by just right-clicking on it and grouping the selection. The next icon on the bottom panel is adding a table. Tables are actually quite useful, and you can add different rows and columns here. What I really like is that how dynamic they are. You can choose a row, you can move columns to the right. It is very intuitive and it's very easy to work with it. Let's review the last icon on the bottom panel, and it is the stamp icon. Stamps we use a lot, and this is how we do our voting. You can see that we can choose between stamps and reaction here. So what is the difference? If I choose a stamp and I place it on my board, it stays in place. If I choose a reaction, that everybody will see that I am reacting on something, but then after some time the reaction will go away. The last piece of the bottom panel is actually my favorite because you can add all sorts of fun stuff on your boards here. You can add stickers, for example, and they are really cute, and they are adding all sorts of stickers all the time. You can add your own stickers if you want. You can add templates from here, so which is also very useful, and you can also add widgets and plugins. We will have another lesson on widgets and plugins, so check it out on my YouTube page if it's out already. And besides that, in this popover you can add a mind map, a code block even, you see a timer, a media, links, so basically anything that you would wish to add on your board. If you think that you are lost and you don't know how to add something, then check this plus icon here. And basically this is it. This is the FigJam board we really like and enjoy using in UX UI design, and hopefully you now see why. And feel free to explore the FigJam board functionality. As I said already, it is very forgiving and it is also very fun. And if you like this lesson and you plan to continue learning Figma, then hit the subscribe button down below and click the bell. This way you will receive a notification when a new lesson comes out. And I see you next time.